What's up, guys? You may be ready, but are you Freddy? I'll say that again for everyone in the back. You may be ready, but are you Freddy? And if you're not Freddy, how ready are you truly? Freddy Freddy is the only one allowed to be ready. If you're not Freddy, you're not ready. Alright, guys. If you've learned anything about me by now, if you've learned anything about me by now, and there's a lot to learn about me. You know, I'm like an onion. There's a lot of layers. You know, you gotta peel back a lot of layers of lore to get to the center of the symbolic onion that I am. You know, not only am I like an onion, not only am I like an onion in regards to how many layers I have, I'm very layerous. That's the new word I made up. It's like porous, but if you have a lot of layers. And you know, I'm very layer heavy like an onion, but you know what else I'm also like? I'm like in regards to how much lore I have and how many layers I have. I'm also like a cabbage. You know, I'm also like a cabbage or a head of lettuce. I don't think a cabbage is very. I don't think a cabbage has a lot of layers. You know, I'm like a. I'm like a head of lettuce. You know, there's a lot of layers. You know, I'm like an ogre. I'm like an ogre in the sense that I'm like an onion. You know? Do you know? Because I don't know. It was really exciting, isn't it, guys? You know, we could talk about the gaming legend Franman record label. You know, I need to make a playlist. I need to make a playlist because everyone loves playlists. The people at home, the people at home can't get enough of. The people at home can't get enough of the gaming legend Franman playlist, but we should add. You know, we should add the entire catalog of the gaming legend Franman record label. We should add the gaming legend Franman record label catalog to the playlist tab so that everyone has easy access to all of the chart topping hits from the roster of talent on the gaming legend Franman record labels roster. This isn't about the viewing experience. I've provided enough entertainment for several lifetimes, okay? I've given the world enough entertainment in regards to how much I owe the world. I'm all paid up in regards to the obligation that I have to the world. Do you go to Vincent Van Gogh and ask Vincent Van Gogh why he did anything? I have the most VR boxing wins in the world. You know, this is how insulted I am by this. You guys didn't even go to Saint 10 and ask Saint 10 why he does anything. Because Saint 10 acts like he's beneath all of you. And you guys just gave that guy money and attention and positive. You gave him praise and money and attention. And all that guy really appears to be on the surface is like a criminal alcoholic. So it's not if I have the most VR boxing wins. I do have the most VR boxing wins. It's not even close between me and the person that has the second most VR boxing wins, and you're not even remotely close to having as many VR boxing wins as I do, because the gap between me and the person that has the second most VR boxing wins is about like 500. So I, without a doubt, have the most VR boxing wins in the world, and there's nothing you can do to change that. So I've beaten a professional MMA fighter in VR boxing called David Acosta. So there's absolutely nothing that I have to prove to you or anyone else. But back to your earlier statement about why do I stream if it's not to entertain people. You don't ask Saint 10 this. You don't ask any of the other criminal delinquents that you pay to be criminal alcoholics, why they stream if they're so miserable and hostile to everyone else. So I don't owe you an explanation for anything. I have provided more than enough entertainment for a lifetime, and I will spar you on stream in real boxing anytime you want in Lee County, Florida, because I want to make an example out of you for the internet's um, funding of criminal activity within the United States. I have a serious problem with the people you most likely support and the crimes that they fund being committed in the United States. And I would love to make an example out of you by defeating you in VR boxing. Not VR boxing, real boxing sparring. And you can come to Lee County, Florida, and get in contact with me when you're in Lee County, Florida, with boxing sparring gear, and I will gladly make an example out of you. Yeah, this still isn't about you yet. This is still not about you. Like most things, really. Boring. No, you are here to entertain me, actually. You're all so far beneath me. You're all so far beneath me that there's not a gap between me and you, okay? there's a gap between second place and you. There's actually a gap between like fifth place and what you mediocres do in VR boxing. There's like a gap between you, which is the bulk majority sheeple. You're a part of the bulk majority sheeple. I'm literally a part of the minority from a demographic standpoint, but I'm a part of the extreme minority. I'm a part of the 1%. I'm a part of the 0.01% when it comes to the fact that there's not a gap between me and you, the mediocre sheeple, the average. The gap is between you and about like fifth or 10th place. Okay, so you're way over here, and I'm way, 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 way up here. And you're way, 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 way down here. And then there's a gap between you and like 15th place in VR boxing, and I'm way up here. And there's a gap between you and way down here, and I'm way up here. And there's a gap between you and way down here. This is where you are. You're way down here, and I'm way up here in VR boxing. When it comes to VR boxing, I'm way up here at number one. And there's a gap between the mediocre sheeple, which is you, and like 15th to 20th place in VR boxing wins. And then you, mediocre majority sheeple that you're a part of, with your like 30 wins for your entire VR boxing career. You get like 30 wins in VR boxing and ranked before you stop playing it at all. Okay? You're a part of the mediocre sheeple that gets about like 30 ranked VR boxing wins down here. The cup represents you. You're a part of the average. You're a part of the average. There's a gap between you and like 20th place when it comes to people that get out of the 30 VR boxing wins in their entire VR boxing career and ranked. Okay? You're a part of the mediocre sheeple pack that doesn't progress past about like 30 ranked VR boxing wins on average. And I'm way, 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 way up here with like 2,270. And there's a gap between the mediocre sheeple crowd that you're a part of and people who ever break like 30 ranked VR boxing wins. That's how mediocre you are. Oh, why is that? Wait, why is that? I should have no problem beating you, the mediocre average sheeple that has about, let's see, 2,000% less VR boxing time than me. I do about 2,000% more combat sports in a lifetime than the average mediocre sheeple like you. So I should have no problem beating you in boxing sparring. I know. That's why I want to spar you in boxing on stream. Because you're part of the mediocre sheeple majority, and I do about 2,000% more martial arts than you in my lifetime on average. So I should and would and will have no problem beating you in boxing sparring on stream because I do about 2,000% more work than a mediocre sheeple like you in my lifetime. Okay? My pink's fingered about 2,000% more bitches than you in my lifetime, too. And I use this pinky to finger bitches. I don't use this pinky to finger bitches. I use this pinky to finger bitches. And fucking this pinky's fingered about 2,000% more bitches than you ever will in your lifetime. No, we can do real boxing on stream or nothing. Good. No. I don't care that you're a woman. Your option is to spar me in real boxing on stream or get banned. You'll get unbanned when you come to Lee County, Florida and spar me on real spar me in real life in real boxing on stream. You'll get unbanned then.